Welcome to everybody to our Lost in Translation video series with my lovely and loved colleague Silvia King.
Und ein Grüezi und ein herzlich willkommen an alle, die heute bei unserer ersten Ausgabe von der Videoseries Lost in Translation dabei sind, mit der wunderbaren Roberta Pagliarullo.
Oh, okay. I got two words.
Welcome back to Lost in Translation, a video series on cross-cultural encounters and how to navigate them. My name is Silvia King, and with me today is my dear friend and colleague, Roberta Pagliarullo. Roberta.
And we have a beautiful guest today. Her name is Catharine Fennell, directly from Toronto, Canada. And we are delighted to have Catharine here. And Catharine is the CEO of videoBIO Recruiter, a digital company. And she's been living in Canada and New York. And since the beginning of her professional life, she's been always excited on how technology, video technology specifically, can help people to connect. About 10 years ago, she launched videoBIO, and videoBIO is a software that helps companies and candidates to connect. You are also really sensitive and advocate for diversity and inclusion and rights of candidates and ethics in recruitment. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to participate in this interview.
Thank you so much, Catharine. And just to dive straight in, as Roberta was saying, so you are in the recruiting business. It is about connecting people, the recruiter, and the potential future employee. So how does culture play into that connection process?
Well, I think first, diversity and inclusion is the topic du jour, because every company needs to make sure that they have an employee base and a workforce that reflects the customers that they serve. And we have a heightened sensitivity now as employers to be able to hire individuals that are gender diverse as well as ethnically diverse. The other aspect of this is that we're really hiring across borders now. We are hiring internationally. We have no barriers to accessing talent. And we're using digital interviewing platforms like ours, for example, that allow employers to really touch candidates anywhere they are in the world. So that makes the opportunity for accessing different cultures much broader. And so it's really important that employers are thinking about how they're being culturally sensitive when working with all these broad ethnicities and nationalities, and taking that into consideration in their hiring practices, in their onboarding practices, as well as in terms of keeping employees comfortable once they've joined the organization in terms of cultural sensitivity in the workplace.
From the point of view of the candidate, Catharine, which cultural aspects should they consider in the recruitment process?
Well, there's so many things to consider. So when we're hiring internationally, we are looking in some cases at language, for example, what is the first language versus what is the second language, providing a way to assess for language proficiency. being able to do different types of skill and assessment tests, to be able to measure candidates equally in terms of what capability they're bringing to work. We are seeing more of what we call competency first interviewing. So rather than look at education or skills from a resume, for example, you look at more broadly, what potential does this candidate have? Does this individual have a strong, open-minded mindset or attitude? Does this individual have a diverse mindset? Does this person have leadership capability? Employers also need to be thinking about the differences in the different countries, because every country has a slightly different culture and ways of thinking about work. So, for example, you may have different religious beliefs, values and norms that you apply in a workplace culturally. So this could be things like, what is a candidate's relationship to work? So in their world, where is work? Where we are in North America, for example, is not the same as how we think about work in Western Europe, is not the same as how we think about work in Japan. Also, prioritization. In some cultures, we are looking at, work is maybe a lower priority and family is first. So we want to take all of those cultural considerations into account. Also things like what motivates individuals, what motivations do they bring to the world of work? Are they risk-taking cultures or are they more conservative cultures?
But in a way, you then have two options. You can either interview and look which candidate is the best fit to my corporate culture, so the culture that is there. You may have the option to say, okay, we have a more global and diverse workforce. How do we need to adapt the corporate culture to accommodate a more diverse workforce? Or you could say that, how do I onboard individuals to prepare them for the work culture, the corporate culture they're going to find? And what is your observation in this wide range of options? Which direction is it going?
Well, it's a really interesting question because, again, in North America, we talk about fit. We talk about fit that's very popular because we're always, we prioritize fit along with skills and experience. But I think we have to be careful about that. I think we have to be very careful because if we're looking to have a very diverse mindset and build a diverse organization that reflects the world that we serve as a company, we need to be not trying to have conformity to a culture and try to force somebody into fit. Because in other words, we need to broaden our culture to be more culturally sensitive and diverse, to accommodate all religion, all ethnicity, all gender, and all aspects of an individual. So it's really, we need to allow a culture to emerge from the diverse mindset that becomes a core value of that organization.
Catherine, that was amazing. I think we can
Yes.
take her here for hours.
Well, that was really fun. I think it's a really fantastic topic, and I'm really interested to see all the different interviews that you do. I think it's very timely. And we need to hear more about this internationally.
So thank you again, Catherine, for a fascinating conversation. And join us again for our next episode of Lost in Translation, when we will again make sense for you of conversations across culture. Thank you very much.